Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Callie Ammons and I'm an Enneagram life coach and something else. I'm going to share about a new adventure I've really been pursuing recently. I'm a realtor in the state of Colorado. I specifically serve the Colorado Springs area. And it has been on my heart for about 5 years to become a real estate agent. I've always thought it would be a really cool career path for me, something that my gifts just naturally align with. I think I would do really well. Not I would, I am doing well and really enjoy it because I love people, I love real estate, I love helping people just take stress out of situations that are often stressful and just make it so fun, so easy for them in a smooth transition. And so I could geek out. There's a lot of things I love about real estate, but I had decided to pursue it this past year. And I wanted to make this video to talk more about careers and our personality and how do we know what to do with our life and our time and our energy and our resources, because it's amazing in our country in this day and age, the times that we're living in, that we even have the option to choose what we want to do. This has not been the pace or the way that life has gone in so many years prior, that people had an option to choose what they want to do. And so we can almost find ourselves being paralyzed by all the decisions. And here's what I want to encourage you first with, is that there's so many jobs you could do. You're gifted, you're talented, and there's not one job, like one special job that you have to seek that God's like waiting for you to magically find. If he does have one very specific thing to you, trust that our God is faithful enough to make that very clear and very evident for you. But you have so many gifts and talents. And what is really cool is when we start to look at that, and this is actually something I guide my students through in a course that I provide called Finding Your Purpose and Passion. And one entire module is where we're looking at the strengths and weaknesses of the different Enneagram types. And then we're exploring all the careers that could come from those strengths. And what we do in this exercise is recognize that, like, wow, there might be 50, 100 jobs that you would be great at. And that's a good thing. That's a really cool thing. It's nothing to freak out about. But what you can do is you can start exploring now. You have the freedom to try things, to figure out what you enjoy, what aligns with you. So for me, I started pursuing my Enneagram business. Well, before it was the Enneagram, I was just teaching people how to live with deep intention. And this was almost 4 years ago, which is just wild to think about, where I started building kind of like an online brand, a blog. My podcast then came after it. And then on Instagram, I just started posting more and more content. And now YouTube is something new I've been pursuing. And it's been so fun. I have learned, wow, so much about myself, and I've grown myself in just my mindset, the way I think, the way I live, in all sorts of areas. And I'm so proud of who I've become. And so this past year, I hit this point where I really restructured my business to delegate a lot and kind of take out things that I wasn't seeing a big return on. So a lot of my time freed up. Now, I'm still really intentional with my time and working quite a bit, but I had more freedom and flexibility. And I kept talking to my husband, Kramer, about wanting to be a real estate agent someday and just how I think I'd be so good at it and it'd be so fun. And he looked at me. We were sitting in the living room and I'm like just rambling on and on about this. And he's like, so why aren't you doing it? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he said, why are you not a real estate agent? Why are you not pursuing this? And I said, I can't. I have a business that I'm running and I love it. Like, I don't want to stop that at all. And then he said, who says you have to stop that? Who says you can't do two things? And in that moment, these are the very things I teach, but in that moment, I realized I'd been putting myself in a box. And we do this so often as humans, don't we? Like, we put ourselves in a box, either like, I can't have two jobs, I can only have one, or I have to have a job, or I have to have a college degree, I have to have a steady job for 30 plus years. Whatever box or mindset you've put yourself in, we all do it. And the best thing we can do for ourselves is to strip down that box and to start thinking, what am I passionate about? What has God gifted me with that he wants to use in me for this world to serve other people? So when Kramer asked me that, it was really clear to me. Like, I started making a list of all the reasons I shouldn't pursue real estate in this season, and everything was based out of fear. I couldn't find a good logical reason not to pursue it. Now, a year, 2 years, 3 years ago, it would have been very foolish of me to pursue something else because My online business was not steady. It's something I've really had to build up. Last year I was pregnant, getting ready to have my first baby, like just a lot of things. So I do want to be careful of that I think there's a season for everything and being really discerning of that. But if there's something on your heart and the only reason you're not pursuing it is out of fear, you're scared what people are going to think, or you've just put yourself in a box and you feel like you can't do this thing. Like example for me with real estate, I'm like, well, I can't have two jobs. Kramer's like, yeah, you can. Like you can do two things, and we can just be really intentional about your time and how we structure both businesses. So that's something I've recently been pursuing. And for me, it has been so fun because I'm still doing my Enneagram online business and I love it. I coach clients. I sell 3 online courses just year round. I keep them open, and then I create content, YouTube and podcasts. And that's what lights my heart up, is helping people become the person God wants them to become through self-awareness, through growth, and through intentional work. And I realized though in that work, like I love it, but I also was missing face-to-face interaction in my work. And when I thought of previous jobs and skills that I have, I realized like there's some areas I'm not using those, and it would be really fulfilling to use those gifts again, to activate that. Like a couple examples. So I love face-to-face interaction, like sitting down, doing a meeting, or like sitting with a buyer client and having like a whole presentation and going through it with them to help them understand the full process. That's so fun to me. Just making it simple. I love the relationship part. And I run my real estate business as a way of working by referral. And so it's 100% about the relationships to me long term, not just like, oh, I got you in the house, peace, I'm out. No, I want to be a friend to you and build that relationship. So that's been so life-giving for me. The second thing is I really thrive when I have a lot of pressure or projects or things going on. So if I'm helping multiple clients, or we're in a deadline of like this person's moving and we got to find you a house within like 20 days, game on. Like that is so fun for me. That type of pressure doesn't stress me out. It really helps me elevate to a level that I forget is within myself until I'm in those high pressure situations. And so in my work, I realized I was missing those 2 components drastically. And so pursuing real estate has given me that outlet to be able to see my gifts cultivate and grow in a different way. And it's so good for me to start over with something and to feel like I'm having to learn so much from the ground up. So for you, it may not be like 2 jobs you have to pursue. You don't have to make income from it, but there might be some areas in your life that you feel like a part of you is missing or dying. And it's because you might just need to add a hobby, a group of people you hang out with, an activity you do, something you do on your own that is activating those skills, those gifts, those things that light you up that you've just kind of neglected in your life. And there's ways to do that. Or you might be like me and you decide to add another career to your life. It's not always just about like making money or having a job, but looking at what gifts are in you. What have you been built with? And if you're like, I have no idea what my gifts are, in my course, Finding Your Purpose and Passion, I help you know exactly how to identify those gifts as well. But there are gifts in you. There are in every single human. And I myself used to feel like I didn't have any gifts at all. I literally used to be like, did God mess up with me? Like, I think he forgot to put some in me. But oftentimes we're just so blind to them, or those gifts haven't been cultivated or taught within you. Maybe not taught, but you have to grow them. You have to mature them, just like working out. Like we all have the same muscles, but if you work out, those muscles get bigger and stronger. You might be able to see them more. It's the same thing with our gifts. We have to cultivate them, work on them, and grow them so that we can see what they look like when they're mature and really in action and living. And of course, it's going to be a process forever that we just keep developing ourselves, which is so much fun. But wow, this video is getting long. I wanted to give you guys the update about my career, letting you know that I'm a real estate agent, also a realtor in Colorado Springs. And if you're curious, like what is the difference between a real estate agent and a realtor? Because I didn't know this until I got my certification. So when you get your license in the state that you work, you're a real estate agent, period. Like everyone's a real estate agent that has a real estate license. But a realtor is being a part of the National Association of Realtors. And it's a membership. There's like fees that you have to pay, but then there's also a standard that you're held to based on how you carry yourself, how you do business, the ethics, everything. Like, we are held to a very high standard of how we support buyers and sellers in our market, and you can lose your membership if you don't uphold that. So that's what makes you a realtor, is when you're a part of that association, which I strongly encourage you, make sure you always work with a realtor no matter where you're at, because of the standard that they're held to. It's great. It just means you're going to get a higher level of service and expertise when you are working with an agent. So I wanted to tell you guys that exciting news. I'm a real estate agent in Colorado Springs, Colorado. If you have friends or family that live here or moving here, or simply, like, even if they're not buying, but they live in this area, or they need a connection, they need a painter, a plumber, or want to know the best coffee shop, give them my information. I mentioned that I work by referral. I care about relationships. And so I genuinely build relationships with people, even if they're not going to buy from me or sell their house with me. I just want to help people. I want to love people, and I thrive in that. So there's my exciting news. My Enneagram business isn't going anywhere, but I am being super intentional with the content I'm posting, the times I'm spending on this business, the times I'm spending with real estate, because I have to be intentional about that. And it's great. It's just making me be that much more intentional. How many times have I said the word intentional? Okay, I need to wrap up this video. Those courses I mentioned, like about finding your purpose and passion, if that's something you want support with, you want to experience more growth and freedom in, check out my link down below. I have the course there, or you can go to calliemmons.com and just explore my 3 online courses. But I am so passionate about helping you find confidence in the things that you're doing with your time, your gifts, your energy, and resources, because to be living and feeling like you're not in your calling, or you're not being purposeful in your work, there's nothing worse than that. And so I'm very passionate about helping you understand how to live each day with intention, feeling very purposeful, and understanding what you're passionate about, so that your gifts are being cultivated and that you're coming alive every single day more and more. Okay, we're ending this video. Thank you so much for sticking with me. If you're still here, you guys are rock stars, and I hope that you have an amazing day. I love you guys so much.